All right, we are live. Wasn't sure if we were going to actually have a show tonight, so we'll wait for a few people to come on in here. But luckily, at the last moment, we had somebody that was able to jump on. This is a good friend of mine, somebody who's actually been on the station, but not as them. So let me, without further ado, let me figure out how to do this. I haven't done a live in too long. Yeah, there you are. This is Barry, everybody, from Shadowhaus.
Yeah, it's me. It's really me, like the real me. The real Barry.
Not the other Barry from CFR 2.
Not that dickhead.
So, a lot of people probably don't know, me and Barry have gone way back. Good. It's been over a year at least.
It's been over a year for sure.
We met on Call from Restricted 1, both as participants that then became actors, I guess.
Yeah, if you want to say that, definitely.
So, all right. So, I got to say this right off the bat. If you ever do a Shadowhaus show, you will see, like, Barry is a beast when it comes to content without sacrificing quality. Like, your shows run a crazy length of time, and everybody's just you keep everybody entertained throughout the whole time. Like, I feel like there's no lows at any point in your show. So
I try.
Why don't you tell us about some of your stuff that you've done so far?
Okay, definitely. So I want to start with, like, this was never supposed to be something that I did. I participated in that remote show, Call from Restricted, met you. And then from there, it was like, I've always been like a creative type person. And especially like in childhood, I had a lot of experiences where I would think outside the box and I would do things that other kids weren't doing. Like, they were out there playing football, they were out there playing baseball. And I was just kind of like this weird kid in the patch. And I always had these crazy ideas. So I got called weird all the time. So I do this show and I'm like, well, damn, before COVID, I'm a psychic medium, not currently practicing right now. And I hosted all of these workshops and I taught people about psychic ability, how to hone in on their mediumship skills. And COVID hit, and then I'm in this show. And then next thing I know, I'm like, man, this is crazy, because it's definitely related. I had a really good friend of mine say, Barry, you could do shows like this. And I'm like, nah, that's not going to happen. And then as I thought about it more and more, I was like, I'm just going to take my creativity and the workshops that I had already hosted in person around my area, and I'm going to put them into a show. So that's how Shadowhaus TV came to be. I think you were one of the very first people I sent content to. I was like, this is going to be my first show. Test these puzzles out for me. And I'm like, I'm waiting for you to say this is garbage, and then you came back and you were like, no, that's good. And that kind of gave me like a boost of confidence that I could definitely do it. And that's how right now what we're working on is the interactive psychic story experience. So I'm a huge fan of American Horror Story. I've watched American Horror Story from the very beginning. Coven is my favorite season. If you like Coven, if you think that's number one, you're for me. Huge fan. So totally inspired by that that series, and I'm running interactive psychic story much like that series. So each season of interactive psychic story is totally different, but we try to keep the same people. So if you become a participant, we don't want you for just one show. We want you to stay on for the series for as long as you want, or until your character dies or something like that. So a lot of the people that you will see in interactive psychic story are going to be the same faces. They may be different characters some seasons. Murder House #1. Okay. All right. Murder House is cool. Coven's still #1. But you'll see the same faces. And I'm sure anybody that follows us, I have a creative team now. So some of my participants who are close friends of mine, and I've definitely put them through the ringer when it comes to shadow work. And I'll talk about that in a second. They have actually come to the other side now after the third show. So the first show that I had was Interactive Psychic Story Eternal Border. And I have to say this, in every single one of my shows, I'm a therapist in my real life. So I like to teach people. I like to help people. In every single one of the shows, there is an ultimate lesson that you learn. Now, while you may be learning about your psychic abilities and how to hone in on those in the shows, there is one major lesson in each season. Thanks, Taylor, for that. Totally appreciate that. So Interactive Psychic Story Season 1 was Eternal Border. And there's a lot of pop art in Season 1. I'm very inspired by Lady Gaga. She'll obviously, she'll always be like number one to me. So in the first season, the major lesson was about the positive and the negative ego. So as human beings, we all have positive ego and negative ego. Positive ego is that little voice inside of our head that tells us we can get through this task, we can accomplish this, we can get that job, we can ask that person out on a date. Negative ego is kind of like that devil on the shoulder. That's the voice that's telling you all the bad stuff. You're not good enough. You're not skinny enough. You're not pretty enough. You can't sing well enough. So that's the ultimate lesson that they learned in Season 1. In Season 2, Coven, the major lesson of that season, it all had to do with the predator mind. Now, the predator mind is when the positive ego and the negative ego battle, in a sense, and the negative ego wins and it takes over that person. So Coven was really interesting in terms of seeing people battle that negative ego. They were trying to get me back to the Coven because in Eternal Border, I was taken by a good friend of mine that I have here. Her name is Lilith. And side note, true story, this is a real haunted doll.
Yeah, we can talk about her in a little while. Let's keep going with this, and then we'll go back to her because I got some questions.
Okay, cool. So we just wrapped up Season 3 of Interactive Psychic Story. It was called Regression, and it was all about past life regression. That was a little challenging to keep everything under one concept because usually in the shows, there's an umbrella of concepts and terms that people learn in terms of like psychic mediumship. So the ultimate lesson of regression was about mind control. What's up, Mel or Aurelia? Mind control was Season 3. So with mind control, you have negative entities and lower level spirits that can control your mind. But more importantly, you have human beings that can control your mind. So it was all about going back to the past and kind of working through the dark parts of yourself to kind of heal from that so that your mind cannot be controlled. So that's kind of like a very brief all 3 seasons right there.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And I love the fact that it continues, but yeah, it's different. So it gets you invested, gets you to hang on and just follow this journey. Let's backtrack to your little friend that's with you because, all right, so little backstory is Barry, one day we're just sitting all talking, having a fun conversation, and he pulls this doll out and tells me this story. And I'm just like, okay, Barry, you know, you're just messing with me. And then what was it like the next day? It sent me a friend request.
Yep. And
yeah.
I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, that creeped me out. And so I blocked her.
Well, funny thing you should mention that in the shows, the participants learn a lot of stuff and everything seems to be coming true. It's really creepy. And that wasn't intention. So I don't know if that was manifestation, but people will be going about their daily lives and something from the show comes into their daily life. And Allison actually experienced that. You'll have to ask her about that.
Okay, I will definitely ask her about that.
She heard a song in a store that she hadn't heard for a long time before Regression. And it was just really weird that song came on in the store after Regression was over.
Very interesting. So do you want to give us some background about little Miss Lilith?
Yeah, definitely, because you're going to be seeing her. We just started a TikTok, and I've tried to stay away from TikTok for as long as possible, but I'm kind of upset that I haven't been there sooner than this because I'm actually loving it. We're trying to tie the TikTok in with the YouTube and everything like that. So if you can subscribe to us on YouTube, I'm definitely going to plug that real quick because we need the followers on there because we're going to use it a lot for our Season 4. So Lilith, it's actually an interesting story. It's a very personal story. And if you've been involved in any of my shows, my participants will tell you that I am very, very transparent with who I am. I am very transparent with my life, my childhood, my early adulthood. So I was in a relationship, and we went with some friends of mine to the woods in West Virginia. It was around Halloween time. And, I've always been interested in haunted houses, Halloween, the fall time, October. It's like I come to life during that season. So I'm always looking for creepy things to do. And I had two friends that said, hey, we should go to this park in West Virginia because it's pretty creepy. I'm like, okay, hey, I'm going to bring the Ouija board. And a lot of people freak out about the board, but I actually like the board a lot. So we take the Ouija board, we take some candles, and I find this summoning spell chant thing, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely going to be fun. I didn't anticipate anything to happen. And I was like, well, we need something. If we summon a spirit, we need something for the spirit to go into, because I don't want it to go into me. I don't want it to go into my friends. So we go to it's White Park in Morgantown, West Virginia. So if you have a chance, look up White Park, Morgantown, West Virginia. If you're close to us, take a trip down there. It's really, really creepy, even in the daytime. If you go there and don't feel anything, I'd be surprised. So I had this vintage, I don't know if you call it vintage, antique, I'm not really sure, had this doll. And we took the doll with us, and we placed the doll by the Ouija board, I think at the top of the Ouija board. And we're just having fun and doing our thing and trying to goof off and, just spook ourselves. So we do our little thing. All kinds of crazy shit starts to happen. I hope I could say that word on here. Yeah. So there's rustling in the background. We hear people walk and the candles blow out. We're like, peace out. We're out of this park. We take everything with us. Melanie went, she says she'll never go back. So take the doll home with me, and all this stuff starts to happen in my personal life, which was really interesting because I've been very connected to spirit. I do very well with boundaries. If I don't want to talk, I don't want to talk. Nothing's ever really followed me home per se until I brought Lilith back. And we named it Lilith because it was a Lilith summoning spell that we found online. And the doll's in my house now. Very, very long story short. Crazy stuff starts to happen. I start to fight with my significant other at the time. Financial stuff started to happen. And then the ultimate thing that happened was the apartment burned down. Well, not burned down, but it did catch fire. A couple of rooms were kind of ruined, and they had to remodel it. And at that time, I'm like, this is it. Nothing happened until this doll came back to my house after that night. So I get rid of the doll, and I can't remember if the first thing I tried was trying to throw her away, or if I tried to burn her. I did both at some point. When I threw her away, I put her in the garbage, and she ended up on my porch again. So I don't know. I started to think, I don't know, did somebody just see this in the garbage and think this isn't garbage and put it back there? But I don't think anybody would walk up 3 flights of steps for a reason like that. I've tried to burn her, and she's come back into my life. I tried to give her away. She's come back into my life. So she's kind of been there, and we have a relationship now where I kind of understand her. I understand what she's about. She wants to be a part of my life, and she doesn't want to be exiled, so I'm not going to exile her. I kind of involve her in things now, and everything seems to be status quo. I'm in a new place. I'm in a new relationship with a man that I really love, and nothing has happened as a result of Lilith. So as long as I treat her with respect and I involve her in my life, and I know there's probably a lot of people thinking, wow, this dude is fucking crazy. I am, but that's a story for another time. But she's here to stay. She was in, I think, season 1, season 2. She was in Call from Restricted 2. But she is gone back to the Dark Lord. So as far as the interactive psychic story series, she's not in it anymore.
Okay.
So that's Lilith.
All right. So you have a lot coming up really soon here. Why don't you talk about this next huge venture? And congratulations with the LLC, by the way.
Thank you very much.
I think that's awesome that you got that going. But you have it's a school?
It's an online school. It's a learning platform. I guess I don't want to call it a school just yet because we're starting off very small. So like I said, before I started the the immersive remote shows, I was teaching, I was doing workshops, and that's what I love to do. I love to teach, like I said before. And I noticed that with these immersive shows, first of all, I have to say that the participants have been amazing at opening up and really getting more from it than just a typical, I love you too, Dennis, just a typical show. They are learning intimate, deep lessons about themselves, lessons about the dark parts. And I always find that like season 1, 2, and 3, like they end and people want more lessons. And I'm like, okay, I got to do something. So I brought on a creative team, my best friends who went through all 3 shows with me. They put in their time, they've paid their dues, they're ready to be on the other side. They have amazing things to hand over. And I'm like, we've got to put some lessons and classes out there. So we are going to launch Shadowhaus TV Seminary. It's an online metaphysical and paranormal learning platform. By the end of August, you're going to see it hit the internet. It's going to go through the shadowhaustv.com website. And then we're going to offer 2 kinds of experiences on there. One is going to be downloadable content. So it's going to be a lesson or a class that you download only. We're going to go through PayHip because it's a pretty easy source to do digital material. And you can kind of do that at your own pace, do whatever you want with it, take the information, answer the questions, and kind of educate yourself. And then we're also going to host live classes where people sign up and they go through PayHip as well, and they'll get like a code that will take them to a class on a platform called Easy Class. Very simple to use. I picked that because it's a free form, very simple to use platform. Everybody will be able to understand it. And if they don't, there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube. So the live classes will run from start date to end date. So we're thinking about anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks per class. You will get the material as the weeks go on. So it kind of won't be where like you download the material all at one time. It's going to be interactive. There's going to be discussion questions. We're going to be interacting with you, personalized feedback every 24 hours. There's going to be quizzes to let you know if you're retaining the material, because retention is very important for application. So, what else do we have? We have videos that are going to complement the lessons. So we're going to tie YouTube in there, and they're only going to be for you. So not everybody can go on YouTube and see this stuff. If you pay, this content is just for you. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to start off really small at first. We're going to have 3 introduction classes. I'm doing a class on shadow work. Melanie is doing a class on confidence. And we have Tracy, who is doing a class on kind of like the no bullshit psychic stuff. And we're going to start off with 3, and then we're going to keep adding and adding and adding. And we're just going to see where it goes because we want it to continue.
That's just awesome. I remember when you first told me you were doing something like this, I was like, holy cow, if there's one person out there that could pull this off, I know it's you and your team. I know that's a lot more than one person. You got an amazing team behind you.
I do.
And I think that's so cool that you found people that cared as much about your brand and image to take it on as their own as well. So I think that's so cool that you all are just doing this. And I can't wait to see the classes.
Thank you.
So what else is next? Is there another chapter to Psychic coming?
Yes, Interactive Psychic Story will have a season 4 for sure. I'm going to run Interactive Psychic Story until I can't run it anymore. And then whenever that's done, I'm going to do another immersive experience and run that until I can't run it anymore. So Interactive Psychic Story season 4 is going to be called House of Glass. And I can't really release a lot of information about season 4 yet because some of the participants have turned into creative team. And we are working together to come up with all brand new things. So if you participate in season 4, there will be all new villains. It will be nothing that anybody is familiar with. All new stories, characters. The one thing that I can say about House of Glass, and you know, if you watch the trailer, it's all about mirrors. Okay. We look into the mirror and we see something. And sometimes what we see is delusion and sometimes it's reality. So the premise of season 4 is the people that were in season 3, some of them have woken up in this Victorian mansion, have no idea how they got there. They can't get out of the mansion, and all around them is mirrors. So each of these mirrors is going to be a portal. Each portal is going to take you somewhere. There might be something good on the other side of that portal. There might be something that makes you face something very dark about yourself. So that's pretty much all I can reveal about season 4 right now, but it's gonna be really exciting, all brand new. And all of our seasons, you can come in as a new participant and we catch you up and we help you. And I think anybody that came in last season can vouch for that you don't have to participate in the previous seasons. Before is all brand new. So I'm excited about that.
So we have a preview, don't we?
Yes, I sent you a preview. I'm excited.
Cool. Let's give it a watch real quick, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Let's see if I know what I'm doing. That's half the battle.
That's all right. Tell me when you started it, and I'll tell you if I hear it.
All right.
Yep. There they are. Yes. Thank you for playing that.
Well, thank you for sharing it. So that was awesome. I think that me and you, I think that's where we always hit it off, was we love our movies for our shows. You know? And what people might not know that are just kind of watching this is that a lot of that footage was stuff that happens throughout your other shows, correct? And then you use it and bring it into like full circle, basically.
Absolutely. So the shots that you see at the end were actually shots that were shot during regression that are carrying over because they had no idea, but they wake up in a Victorian mansion.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I really think as a participant going through, that takeaway is so much more like that you're putting the people into their own movie, you know? And that's something like when you go to an in-person show, yeah, you're in your own so-called, you know, movie in the moment and you're living it out yourself. But this is such a great way remotely that after it's done, it's like, wow, I got all these great memories from the things that I just did. Another thing that I love is the puzzles. You are a master at puzzles, and that's something I think is a trademark with the Shadowhaus brand, is that you're going to come in contact with some really fun puzzles throughout.
You're being very kind. That's definitely one of the things in an area I have to work on myself is understanding that I'm good at puzzles. But you know, we have a plan for puzzles. We're going to morph them. We're going to make them a little bit different. I'm a very big fan of multiple step puzzles. So not just figuring out one thing and being done with it. Multiple steps is definitely the way that I like to go. And a lot of the times you don't even start off those steps until you figure out a password. So like it could be all day before you figure out the password, before you even start. So
all right,
I'm excited.
All right. Well, we're coming up on that half hour mark. Is there any final things you want to say at all?
I want to thank everybody who has participated or even thought about participating, because I mean we're a small brand right now, and I definitely want to get out there and show people what we're about. And we're very authentic and very transparent. We don't want to cause any harm. We stay away from stuff like that. So if you participate in the shows, there's a process that you go through. You sign up with us. We're in constant contact. We send you a Word document to kind of help you understand what you're about to do without giving anything away. We have a waiver, so we talk a lot about like safety, there being a safe word, all of those things. We like to take people's lives into consideration, because this isn't just a game, it's real life too. And we have a cycle 0 for our shows. So, you pay for one thing, but you usually get about a week extra content. The pre-show is what a lot of people call it. So I just like to thank the participants for investing their time and more importantly, their energy that they put into this. I am so blessed. We are so blessed with the participant pool that we have had in previous seasons, and they keep coming back. Some of the main characters you see in the shows are people that keep coming back. And I just want to thank them from the bottom of my heart, because they make me brave.
Well, that's awesome. And thank you for coming on, and thank you for all that you do with the immersive community and putting on such a good show. If you are out there, how does somebody find you to attend one of your shows or your classes?
Okay, so shadowhaustv.com. Shadowhaustv.com is a big one. Shadowhaus TV on Facebook, Shadowhaus TV on Instagram, Shadowhaus TV on TikTok. It's the best way to go is the website, because it takes you to every other platform that we have, and everything will be listed on the website as it happens. You'll know about seminary happening if you check out the website and you watch our Facebook.
Okay. And you have a YouTube channel out now that you need some subs for. Where are we at on that? So we don't have one of those personalized links yet. I definitely want to get there. But we have the YouTube posted on the website and the Facebook and every other platform. So please go to Shadowhaus TV on YouTube and subscribe to us. We definitely need the followers up so we can get that personalized link. It's like a baby growing up. So you'll get there soon enough, I'm sure. You're probably not too far away from it.
About halfway there.
All right. Well, get there. We'll get you there.
Thank you, buddy.
Well, thank you so much for everybody for tuning in and watching. And thank you, Barry, for taking the time. Go find Shadowhaus TV and start living out one of these interactive psychic stories while you can. All right.
There's some horrors in this house. Let's go. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.